So hey boys and girls, Q here. How's everybody doing? Got some updates on the bikes. Got this gel pad. I might try to work into one of these saddles, although all three saddles are pretty good. If you've been watching the channel, you know I've got this beautiful Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, which is such a pleasant bike and great motor, does everything really well. Getting the right preload on this sucker really helped improve the ride, but still these are very, crappy budget shocks that it came with, and same thing with this unadjustable front fork. Not the greatest suspension, but do I want to sink $1,500 into upgrading it? Not sure. I've got my fun new Svartpilen 401. This bike is so different. I mean, if you're used to Harleys that, basically are redlining at 4,000, 5,000 RPM, you're used to sort of lugging engines along. This BMW R18, it doesn't really want to go much over 3,000 RPM. This guy wants to sit there at 6,000, 7,000 RPM. It's totally different way of riding, but this bike has so much snap and power, and the more you twist the throttle, the more it goes. So if you want that, exhilaration of acceleration at any RPM, as long as it's a high RPM, this is your bike. And you just have to get used to how this bike wants to be ridden. So I do love it. I do love it. It's the least comfortable of the three, I think, but whatever. Now, then there is the gorgeous BMW R18. So people ask me, if you could only have a bike, one of these three, which one would it be? It would have to be this BMW R18. This bike is just so stunning in every detail. Everything about it is beautifully finished, beautifully engineered. Of course, it's got the shaft drive and all that stuff. But great brakes, lovely suspension. But the king of the show, of course, is the motor. Just gobs of power, and the sound. It's just the best sounding motorcycle I've ever heard. Now, oddly enough, I was looking at the preload. What's the recommended preload? And for a guy like me who weighs about 175 pounds, the preload, which is located under this right side panel, is go counterclockwise all the way, which is like 0 preload. So I've just done that for the first time. I use this wrench because I'm going to go try that out. Let's see what that's like, because I was getting a little bit of head shake, a little bit of wobble, speed wobble on the front there, and that's not good. But I read that the incorrect preload on the suspension could cause that, so we'll see if that's any better. The only other problem with this bike is the way they did the windshield on such an angle. Any windshield will create a vacuum behind it, and the vacuum was pulling air up. Air comes up on this bike, and what that does is it tends to bobble your helmet. It hits you in the chin, and your helmet bobbles, and then your goggles or your visor bobbles. It's intolerable. So one of the things I did to fix that, and it wasn't even my idea, it was the previous owner's idea, was he put these reflectors on here. And somebody told me that these are made for the Honda VTX 1300 or 1800, but they just clamp on these down tubes, and they help disturb some of that air that wants to come up and kick it out. So I found that's very helpful. And then this windshield is one that I just cut down myself, and I tinted it myself with some tint wrap. And then I find that if I take one of these inexpensive Amazon wind deflectors and I put that quite high, the narrowness means that air is coming across this way, and that helps batten down the air coming up. So that's good, plus the side deflectors on the forks, And with this adjustable bit on the top, I can throw the wind over my helmet for my height. So preload, wind, you know, these are issues with most bikes, at least the preload is, but once you get this thing sorted, it's wonderful. And if you look at some of the big YouTube motorcycle influencers, if you look at Sean Kirk from SRK Cycles, Bikes and Beards, he just moved to Tennessee. He took one motorcycle with him. Guess which motorcycle? Yeah, he took an R18 with him. And if you look at Stuart Fillingham in Wales or wherever he is, he's talking about moving to Spain. Well, first of all, like Sean, he owns an R18, and that tells me a lot. And then he was talking about only taking one bike to Spain with him, and it's going to be the R18. So, you know, these top guys who really know motorcycles know that this bike is something special, and it doesn't sell well. Because I guess over here Americans just don't understand it, or a lot of people don't understand it. What that means is the prices are low. You can find these things where somebody's bought it and they've ridden it around for 1,000 miles or so, and they don't get it, they don't like it, and they trade it in, and those bikes are available at a pretty good discount, a lot cheaper than a Harley, and or maybe about the same price as a used big Harley. But awesome bike. Love it, love it, love it. So that's about it, guys. I put some new handlebars, clutch and brake levers on the Svartpilen. I always call it Svartpilen. Svartpilen. It's impossible to say Svart. It's not even a word. Not in English anyway. But I found that if I have my engagement point on the clutch further out, way out here, and I pull it all the way in, makes it much easier to get this bike in neutral. That's one of the complaints about the Svarty, is getting it into neutral when you come to a stop. At a full stop, it's hard to get it from first to neutral without going into second. No complaints about the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 whatsoever. This would be my second choice if I could only keep one bike. And again, because these, you know, the BMW does everything except go in the dirt. It's very happy to just poodle along. If that's what you feel like doing, if you feel like just a slow cruise or just a mellow, hey, let's just go for a ride, it loves that. It's so happy doing that. At the same time, you want to get this thing in the twisties and open it up, and you want to muscle this around the corners. It does take some muscle, but if you want to do that, this thing is a ball, and that engine goes for it. It loves it. So, you know, this is the bike, the BMW, this is the bike that does everything, and does everything pretty beautifully. The Svartpilen, this is just fun. This is just a hooligan bike, race around, you know, just have a blast on it. Super lightweight, go down a dirt road, go on a back road, go fast. It just doesn't like to go slow. Going slow is not what this one's all about. And the reason why the Royal Enfield would be my second choice if I could only keep one is, again, this is more of a do-it-all bike. Although I don't know that I want to be on this motorcycle on a 1,000-mile journey. You could do it. You could definitely do it. But I'd rather be on the BMW if we're going across the country. So that's the update, boys and girls. I continue to try things with windshields, with seat pads, with comfort, with aerodynamics, and it's part of the fun. You know, I just keep working on these things. So I hope you got something out of that. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.